interview author with the for the interview session with the author. You think they noticed that I messed up a lot of times?
Yeah, I'm sure no one noticed at all. It's not like they have these things on their faces called, what was it again? Oh right,
yeah,
eyes.
I know. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna bring it down a notch or two. It's time to have our interview with our first indie author. I'm so excited! I mentioned I just had a coffee. For our first indie author, her name is ID Marie, and her book is called The Tyrant's Daughter. And so, you know, me and my totally curious and not at all, you know, nosy about things.
Liar.
I sent her some interview questions, and you know, she killed the questions. I was watching the clips. I'm really excited. I'm sorry, just back off. Anyways, I watched the clips and I'm so excited. So here's how this is gonna go. You're gonna see clips of me.
How unfortunate for them.
You're so rude. And then you're gonna see clips of her, and it's gonna be an interview. A face-to-face, get it? I think I have a microphone around here somewhere. Hang on. Darren, you smartass. I know you're sick. Okay, well, I don't have any interview mic. I do have paint brushes. Yeah, so I'll go like this and I'll ask my question, and then I'll be like this, and then it's her turn to answer. Yeah, this coffee is kicking me in the... Let's meet our author, shall we?
Hey everyone, it's ID Marie, and you're watching Disney Channel. Just kidding. Hopefully you're reading my debut novel, The Tyrant's Daughter. But let's talk about it, let's get into it, and let's answer some questions.
Darren, she's such a good public speaker, and I don't know how to do this, man. I'm sweating. I mean, welcome back. Good introduction. I mean, seriously, how are you so good with introductions? I don't understand. It's nice to meet you. So one of my first questions has to do with your characters, specifically your main characters. If you could just talk on that, that would be great.
So every book in the series, there's going to be 5. I'm currently, and this is a shameless plug.
There's no such thing as shameless plugs in this nook.
Or shameless in general, considering that's what you are.
Or as Darren would say, shameless, because, you know, apparently that's what I am. You're so rude, you know.
The second book, The Prince of Paradise, comes out next month. And every book has 2 main characters that remain the same throughout the entire series. And then there is a third POV within the book that has a little bit less screen time, but they rotate. So every book, the third person's going to change. The 2 main characters will remain the same. And these 2 are our girl, Ariane Murray, and a bounty hunter named Blackjack. So we have a mutant warrior princess with wings and a shady cartel underground bounty hunter with the best aim in all of Europe. And so the 2 of them obviously meet up in book 1 and hijinks ensue. And so the story is basically following the 2 of them, their shenanigans, the trouble that they get in, and just the, like I said, the chaos, the potential war, and all the fun superpowered parties that get involved.
I want to know how your brain works. How did you come up with the third character being rotated through the books? That is so intriguing. How did you think of that? See, now I need the book to hurry up. I could always run to Amazon. I can't run to Amazon to get the book. I really do like the idea of the characters, especially with the third POV shifting to every book. That's something that I've never heard of before, which is something I'm really excited about. So my next question has to do with your story inspiration. I find that knowing an author's story inspiration helps the readers become a little more intrigued in what they're reading. So I'd really like to know, what is your story inspiration?
Why do you keep acting like a hyped up news anchor?
So the biggest inspiration for me in writing The Tyrant's Daughter and the entire series, The Legends of Pangaea, is the early 2000s comic book movies, sci-fi movies, like the X-Men trilogy, huge inspiration. The early Marvel Cinematic Universe installments like Iron Man, the Hulk, even the Hulk, Thor, Captain America. I loved the mad scientists, the labs, the experimentations, the geopolitical aspects of having superpowered beings in the world. Along with that, if any of you guys read the Maximum Ride series, that was also a huge inspiration. Obviously, you can see it in Ariane. Those who don't know Maximum Ride, it's a story about winged mutants running away from mad scientists who created them. So naturally, there's a huge plug of that kind of concept within this book series, and you can see it obviously on the cover. Really, writing this book series started when I finished the Maximum Ride series. Anyone who has read them knows they did not end well.
I don't even know. Right! Bad ending. You think she's gonna be mad at me for liking the Maximum Ride series?
What possible reassurance could you be looking for in me?
They were just here, man. I don't know. I'm really bad at this interviewing thing. Darren, please
You
save
should really
me.
know that even if we were the last two beings on Earth, I wouldn't
Okay.
save you.
So naturally, I rage quit, promptly threw the book across the room, and said, I can do this concept better. So I started with a winged character. I created my own magic system, which is really just the mutation science and the superpowers that come from it, and said, I'm gonna do this better. Mad scientists, war, political intrigue, mutations, superpowers. Let's get at it. And that is how it was born. I grew up around all of these super awesome sci-fi stories, and I wanted to tell my own. I'm a biomedical scientist by trade, so I definitely have a background to talk about genetics, to talk about experimentation, and it's just a wild ride. So I'm pretty proud of it. I think it does those types of stories justice.
Thank you for sharing that. Wow, I have to say, I'm a big Marvel person as well, especially with like Iron Man. Iron Man's like my favorite Marvel character. But the mad scientist lab thing, I love that. And I never thought I would. So it's gonna be a very interesting read. I'm really excited for it. Let's see. Darren, what should I ask next?
I think you just want to get your feelings hurt at this point.
Okay. Still rude. As always. Next thing that I would like to ask you about is, I know for me as an author, there are so many struggles that I've had with my works. So I want to know if like you can relate to struggles as well. I mean, I'm sure you can. I mean, every author can, but I'd like to know about yours personally. I feel like if I do know them and our viewers do know the struggles that you've gone through, it helps the reader want to be more engaged with what they're reading.
The hardest thing about writing this novel is consistency, and that's for a ton of reasons. One, of course, is, and I've experienced this a lot with recent months and in my recent book, is that it's part of a series. So even though I am closing the book literally in book 1, when I open the book in book 2, the story needs to remain consistent. It needs to feel like it's cohesive and it flows together. Not that it's two separate works of art, but ones that complement each other. Consistency also means that the story needs to remain exciting throughout the entire plot. You can't have a saggy middle. You can't have chapters where naturally readers aren't going to enjoy some chapters. Some chapters you need to get through. I feel like that's in any book because there are some, essential pieces that need to be put down. But my job as a writer is to make those essential chapters as interesting and fun as possible. And you can't satisfy everyone. Every reader is going to like different things. Every reader is going to have different favorite chapters, and that's fine. But that consistency of everything needs to stay fun. It needs to stay active because someone's reading this book for fun. I don't want to make it a chore for them. So that consistency in plot, that consistency in enjoyment is definitely something I'm striving for, and it's very hard sometimes. And lastly, consistency and believability. Naturally, we're dealing with people with wings, right? You're going to have to suspend disbelief a little bit, please. But at the same time, there has to be some consistency with what rules are being followed, what's believable, right? Is it really possible that someone could shove 16-foot wings behind a sweatshirt? No, but I think the readers would appreciate if I say, oh, this person Arian is taking effort to hide her wings by wearing a baggy sweatshirt. The readers can suspend disbelief that far, right? But if I'm just saying she's wearing a tank top and somehow her wings are hidden, that's when people start questioning. Along with that, the technology systems. This is taking place hundreds of years in the future. So naturally, a landline, I'm going to have to explain why that still exists. I'm going to have to explain why people are driving cars and not flying cars. things like that, right? I need to be consistent with the level of technology, the level of religion, communication, city building, world building, right? So it all comes together, and you just got to be cognizant of it. And it's super fun to do because it's like a puzzle, but at the same time, I've definitely seen myself cross-checking and making sure everything makes sense.
Man, don't I struggle with consistency. Right, Darren?
I'm beginning to believe you're a masochist.
I don't even know why I ask you questions, man.
What can't you understand about the fact that I'm only here to hurt your feelings?
Anyways, that was consistency. I feel like is just so, it takes effort and practice. I feel like if you're trying to create a consistent world, as you mentioned about like having to explain how your main character is going to hide her wings, like that's so up here. That's great, because I feel like that's something that everybody can relate to, not even like beyond writing and beyond anything. Like, I know you were a soccer player in college and I'm a basketball player. Consistency is so hard to obtain. Like, I can't even tell you how many times I've not been consistent with my workouts. I really hope my coaches.
I hope she is watching. You and running laps sounds like the comedy event of the year.
I love that. I just love the fact that there's such a genuine type of air to you that everybody can relate to. And I feel like when I'm going to be reading your book, that's just going to make it all the more reason to dive into the world that you're creating. And it also allows me as the reader to understand that you are trying to be consistent. So if there may be one or two flaws, apologies, I knocked my water over. That allows me to know that if there are one or two flaws with consistency, you're a human being. Like, that's just how things go. Like, you're not gonna be perfect every single time. I mean, let's be realistic. I know Darren is making some smart ass comment up in the.
When am I not?
There.
It's what I live for.
So after being verbally attacked by a certain someone,
give credit where credit is due.
I guess my last question for you would be if you have any takeaways for your series, your writing, anything at all.
At the end of the day, The Tyrant's Daughter and the series that follows, called the Legends of Pangaea series, is really a look into what it means to be a hero and what it means to deal with trauma and mental health. It's not easy to be a hero, and ultimately a lot of people will make selfish decisions. It's not easy to deal with ADHD, anxiety, depression, PTSD, anger disorders, but you can still be a hero. You can still have an amazing story even while you're dealing with these conditions and disorders. Along with that, I wanted it to be something that everyone can see something in a character. You know, Arian is impulsive, but at the same time, she is very loving and loyal. Blackjack suffers from severe depression. Blackjack is a liar and a cheater, but at the same time, he does have a heart of gold if you know where to find it. And I really wanted people to understand the dichotomy of everything, right? Like I said, you can be a hero, but that always has a limit. You can have things that you struggle with internally, but if you know how to put that aside and bring your best and are constantly growing, then you can be good and bad. You can have the good with the bad. And so the yin and yang, the pull between good and evil and the space in between is super important in these books. Everyone has good qualities. Even the bad guys, even the super chaotic evil bad guys have redeeming and good qualities. Even the best characters, even the main characters. For example, Jaya Bari suffers from extreme jealousy, right? Even though she's modeled to be the goody two-shoes, the emulation of a hero. Ariane is the story's main character, the story's hero, yet she has a lot of pitfalls, like I said, like impulsivity and ambition. But it doesn't make you despicable. It doesn't make you irredeemable. Good and bad exist together. And I wanted a story that emulated and exemplified that.
Oh, wow, she just killed all my questions. She did so good. Why is she such a good public speaker and I'm not?
You really don't want me to answer that.
Thank you. Man, you really killed it, man. Man, your line about good and bad existing together. You're like a poet or something. How did you even come up with that? That was really good. I just wanted to thank you so much for, being up to answering my questions. And I'm ecstatic. I am like, I literally feel like I'm jumping around inside. Like there's 50 million little bees or little rabbits jumping up and down inside me because I am so excited for this book. I hope everybody watching will want to buy her book and read it too. I mean, we could do like a buddy read or something. Because I need friends. I need friends that read.
Or friends in general.
I have friends.
Is denial like your second language or something?
I have friends. Don't listen to Darren. He's just sad he's a loner.
You are me. You literally created me. So you just called yourself a loner.
Yeah, okay. Thank you everybody for coming to this interview session, and I hope you all enjoyed it. So get ready to buy her book, because if you don't, I'm going to be very upset. I hope everyone has a great day, night, evening, wherever you are. I hope you have an amazing time, and I hope everyone is as excited for this novel as I am, because I'm going to be running laps until I get it. So, okay, bye.
Fantastic.